than a serious astronomer. So he said he'd do a review of all the a review of the eclipse. A few days later, asked us to send photographs, and I sent him 8 photographs, the same 8 that I sent you. I sent him, and he used 2 of my partial eclipse photos where the sun is still creeping across. So I was very proud because the rest he was showing professional people's really fancy dancy images. Anyway,
Well, good.
So, and they let the crew up. There was 1,400 of us plus 700 and some crew, and so they let the crew come up, for the totality. Except the 2 people on the bridge.
Where were you? Where was your boat?
Anyway,
where?
I was about 50 miles off of Mazatlan in the Pacific Ocean.
Mazatlan.
So,
that is.
Mazatlan. It is on the Pacific coast of Mexico.
Okay.
A little further south than the Baja Cabo San Lucas, which is on the peninsula, but Mazatlan's on the main. Anyway, the 4th time I've seen an eclipse from a cruise ship, the advantage is the captain has access to, fancy weather predictions and radar, and so he can see where there are no clouds. So he aims to go where there are fewer clouds, which he did with great success. When he came down to the deck afterwards where we were, and everybody was clapping him, and
Okay.
And later on, I saw him on you dock, and they always have souvenir stalls on the dock near where the ship is, and my husband and I were out there doing a bit of shopping, and there I saw the captain coming along, and I greeted him and said, "Would you like me to lend you some pesos so you can buy some souvenirs?" And he said no, he didn't need to buy any. But he was very pleased that he'd seen the eclipse. Pesos, of course, being the Mexican currency. Anyway, he was a very obliging. And then later I said, "Could I have my photograph taken with him?" He said, "Sure." So it's nice when you meet a captain of a ship who's in charge of a lot of people, who is so obliging and pleasant. So anyway, I think we better get started, Diane.
I think so. Okay,
I think Ellen is putting the agenda in the chat, right?
Right.
Great. Okay, so we need a note taker, a vibes watcher, and a timekeeper. I think the real important thing is the note taker.
Well, if you want, I'll try to do it this time. Okay, put me down.
Okay, great. Okay, and do we have a vibes watcher and a timekeeper? There's just guidelines.
I'll be a vibes watcher.
Okay.
And I'll be the timekeeper. This is Joan.
Thank you, Joan. Okay.
Ellen.
Are there any revisions to the agenda?
I thought it was a very fine agenda. Thank you for doing it, Diane.
Sure.
I just received a new thing that came in this afternoon about a new global alliance from an environmental point of view. So I will tell you about it in 5.8a when we're talking Earth democracy.
Earth democracy?
I will just put Cheryl will tell us about a new global alliance.
Okay.
That we should be aware of.
Okay.
Started by Mary Robinson, or launched by Mary Robinson, who you all know was President of Ireland.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was searching. Okay. Okay, good. So I think that's the only change, unless someone has something else. And then I don't think we have anyone new. And so we're on to reporting WILF action since the last meeting, if not already on the agenda. And does anyone have anything the agenda covers a lot, so it'd be pretty hard to have something that isn't. So, okay, good. And then the minutes, are there any changes to the minutes?
When were they sent out?
Thursday?
April the 11th. April the
Like-
11th.
By you, Cheryl?
By
No,
me.
By you,
Diane, but I had previously modified Diane's. They didn't need much modification. Diane did a splendid job. So I just
She gave me some changes or something. I put
added
them
a
in
few
and
sentences.
sent them out. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, I have that listed that I sent them out on April 11th before I did the agenda. But anyway, okay. If there are no
I think-
changes,
I move that we accept the minutes.
great. Okay. So if there are no changes, they stand as sent out. So hot topics. The only one hot topic I really have here on the agenda is the Gaza-Israel war, because the other things are covered at other places. So, Eileen, so I'm just going to go quickly through what I had written down. One is what Eileen sent out about the one video Israel really doesn't want you to see. And it says that there was all this propaganda, Israeli propaganda about October 7th. And then I put in the Washington, D.C. bus stops that say stop sending wars to Israel, that World Beyond War is putting at 8 bus stops, big signs. And
So they're at the bus stops. They're paying for
yes,
billboards.
for big billboards to be put at the bus stops, on the one side, like the windbreaker thing they have. So they're paying for 8 of those. And then Jean, Eileen, we covered your video about Israel, about what Israel doesn't want you to see. Okay, and Jean had mentioned 2 items that I just put in. The prediction that Iran will bomb Israel, which evidently they did. And Israel refuses ceasefire proposal. So I just thought maybe somebody would like to say something about either of those.
Well, we should be all very worried
Yes.
about what's going on.
Yeah.
But as always, I go to the BBC News website, and they say that Biden is telling Netanyahu, just don't do anything, else you'll be in big trouble. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, it's all
Basically,
rhetoric instead of action,
Uh,
and it's so frustrating. We want them to stop selling. We're having a battle in our city with the legislators. We tried to get the Palestinian supporters and the Israeli supporters in one room, and with a lot of others who are in between or not as emotional, and it created quite a disturbance. There's a lot of words, not pleasant words said, and I just wrote something counting, hey, this is about life. This is how many people have been killed in Palestine. This is how many people who have been killed, Israelis who've been killed. And consider the number of kids, 14,000. Can't we support life? And I explained I was from WILF, and I just sent it to every single legislator because I was asked to do something like this. There's just, to make fuss about who can have I'm going off to deep end. So life was most important, and that was my message. And I ended by 4 o'clock sending this message out to every single legislator who might have some time to read it, because we've got a 3-day weekend here because of the marathon on Monday.
Oh.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
why that explains why your tax day is not the 15th. I wondered why that was.
Oh,
It's put off to the next day because of the famous Boston Marathon. Okay. But tell me, where was this?
Oh, you're frozen. To
What was the
explain,
venue? I want this for the minutes.
You
Where
might wanna
was
go out of your video,
I've
Cheryl. You're
gone.
breaking
I've
up.
gone. Where was this event where you got people from both sides in a room?
I was told that this happened in one of the legislative halls, but it may have been some other room where they were trying to, do a circle and everyone talk, which I doubt. I think it was a legislative room. I got the message secondhand. A wonderful legislator who is very, very anti-plastic, so I love her. Allison Leary sent a beautiful message, basically asking people to be more compassionate, to listen to each other, and basically to try to make peace here between us so that we can at least deal with this terrible situation abroad. And so I bounced off of her, as did another woman who did a longer version letter mentioning Allison's name. And the
So,
two
excuse me,
legislators who supported the sign-on petition that this woman wants. If she wants
these
more
are
legislators to sign.
Massachusetts legislators.
No, no, no. I'm talking about my town, my city of Newton.
Okay.
It has 80,000 people, so it
All right.
constitutes
So
a city.
these are like, okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay.
okay. Well, I put in the email that Robin sent out about the American surgeons in Gaza. We've never seen cruelty like this. So the two actions I listed was the International Coalition to Stop Genocide in Palestine, which we had the day of fasting yesterday. I didn't fast. I don't do well fasting. But there was that fasting. And then April 15th, they're calling for a national strike
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. Shut it down for Palestine. So those are
Are people
okay.
involved in the national strike tomorrow? Are some of you involved?
No.
So I think that you have to go to there's a toolkit there in the agenda to find out what you might do in your part of the world.
Well, they don't want you to go to work, for instance. I mean, they want, just and not go shopping, not do things. But what else? What do they want? I don't know. Yeah. So,
Right.
Mhm.
So okay. So why is it I can't save the chat? Ellen,
I don't know. I'll check.
usually there's the
You should be
famous.
able to.
Okay. So I
The
guess
three dots may be really, really tiny, Cheryl, if they're at the bottom, or they might be at the top.
Right
But
now,
they're
they
there
usually,
somewhere, probably.
They're down at the bottom and on mine at the right side, to the right of the down arrow.
all right. Okay.
okay. Well, I'm going to go on. So the campaign reports, and McGregor isn't here to
No, she
talk
sent
about.
her regrets.
Oh, I'm behind on things because I've had company and classes and stuff. Okay. So we're just going to go on, I guess. And okay, I just mentioned this Nuclear Age Peace Foundation Reverse the Trend, Little by Little campaign. And Ellen sent that out April 11th. And then Back from the Brink, Ellen also sent this out on April 11th. Get your local state elected officials to speak out. And then Cheryl, did you want to talk about the conference to develop new strategies? we're going to have another
Yes.
meeting before the 4th of May,
Right.
but you're working on it.
Right.
Okay.
So I can tell you that the small subcommittee of us, self-appointed subcommittee, decided we needed to brainstorm for new strategies for getting rid of nuclear weapons. And so we invited, I assembled a list of 52 organizations that we know about that work against nuclear weapons. And they were invited to send just a couple of people to this meeting on the 4th of May. People in their organization that they see are good brainstormers, people who can come up with innovative ideas. And this went, and the invitation letter we got to be signed by a lot of people whose names should be recognized, like David Swanson and Helen Jeckard and Ira Hefland. So we gathered together an illustrious group to invite people to send 2 people per organization. And so I will be one of the people coming from WILPF. And if anybody else wants to be a person who, it'll be Saturday, May the 4th, 9 o'clock, I believe, on the Saturday Pacific time. It'll last about 2 hours, and we'll be in breakout rooms from the very beginning, really. We won't have any speakers. We'll just have small breakout rooms where the people within each breakout room will brainstorm. So do any of you feel you're a particularly good brainstormer? Could come up with some new strategies?
Yeah, it depends. I'm sorry, what was the date again?
Saturday, May the 4th.
4th.
And I'm almost sure it's, excuse me, 9 o'clock.
We have a campaign, Wake Up the Earth. It's an environmental thing where we try to recruit members to our branch.
Right.
That
So
afternoon. Actually, we start in the morning. It's an 10 up to 10-hour day if we want it to be.
Well, this is 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Right, which is 12 for me, and it's
Yes.
from 12 to
yours is already gone. Okay.
we have to get there, and it takes a good 45 minutes. If you want to get there and get a good spot, I'm sure.
Okay.
Your regrets are accepted and appreciated. Thank you.
All right, I'll shut up. Thank you.
So, okay, well, I will be reminding you about this meeting, and the idea is to come up with, some new ideas and then encourage people to actually carry them out. We're not going to dictate which ideas should be used by which organization. We're hoping the organizations will look at their own resources and say, yeah, we could do that. We could do that, whatever that is.
I'd like to suggest, Gloria's not here, but she's a great brainstormer. I'd like to suggest you recruit her.
Okay, thank you, Peggy. I will write to her. Anyway, the idea is to really strengthen our movement. As I say, there are 52 organizations that we know of that are working against nuclear weapons. But we're kind of in our little silos, and we need to appear, more cohesive and make a bigger impact is the idea. So anyway, that's what
I would like to make a suggestion. It's based on my reading of the New Yorker. If we can find someone who supports the TPN to write an article in the New Yorker, that might be, reaching a lot of intellectuals.
Right. Jean, you have done your favorite thing. You have shared your screen by accident. Would you unshare it, please?
There we go.
Thank you. So write a letter, an article for the New Yorker,
Yeah, they tend to be long, and if your description, if there's descriptive with examples, with a human approach, they're very effective. I'm
Yes.
going to be sharing one later about drones and what's going on in Ukraine.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need to say about that at the moment.
Okay, so the next item is Norton's bill. Ellen, do you want to say anything about that?
Nope.
Okay. Reports on actions with various coalitions. The warheads to windmills. I thought maybe somebody'd like to take that course that Timon is teaching.
And it costs $75.
Yeah.
And you get
And he
assigned.
said he's limiting it to 18 people. So maybe we need to ask him whether he's got his 18 already.
Well, I looked and I put in the agenda that there's 3 tickets left.
Oh, there you go. Great.
There were yesterday when I looked before I sent out this agenda. So maybe they're gone, but there were 3 left.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's wish them good luck with that. And then I mentioned the Peace Walk. It's starting in Ogunquit now. And so that's right next to New Hampshire. So they cut out almost all of Maine. And they're starting on the 27th. And did anybody want to say anything about the Peace Walk?
Yeah, I thought we had to fund it.
So
Budget is cutting it out.
say that again, Eileen.
I was on a finance committee meeting last week and again this afternoon. Because of budget issues, we really can't afford to offer 500 or whatever dollars to support the walk, okay, Vets for Peace. And I can't even think anymore. That whole initiative, I thought in order to really be involved, you had to sponsor it financially, and we can't.
So we agreed, well, the Disarm Committee agreed to ask the board, I believe, for $1,000.
No,
Right, Diane?
we
To
asked
support-
$1,000 for the World Beyond War event, but not, and we already are sponsors of the Warheads to Windmills, but we aren't paying them any money. So they have this thing where you can just, help out when you can. So we're doing that. We already have our name there for that, for the Peace
So
Walk.
Eileen, so
I
are we
think it
going?
would,
I think we're going to have to double check with the budget. There's going to be quite a discussion at the next board meeting.
I think it was about supporting the No to NATO event. And
Right.
I personally, I'm only speaking for myself, but I think it's very important for WILF's name to be part of that event.
So what you're telling us, Eileen, is the money has not yet actually been transferred.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's not. It
Although
has not. Somebody needs to double check.
I got a
heard-
letter from Chris saying that she was transferring it, I believe.
You got a letter from whom?
I got an email from Chris Wilbeck saying that she wrote the check.
Yeah. And that would have been a couple of months ago, I think.
Yeah, right after it was approved. I wrote her and saying it was approved, and so
Hey,
I mean,
I now we're not getting the manpower to cover it. It's gotten really sticky. Martha Spees backed off in Maine.
wait. You're confusing the No to NATO with the Peace Walk. They're 2 separate things.
I thought that.
And-
Okay, I thought we're talking about the Peace Walk.
We are, but we didn't pay $1,000 for that. We paid $1,000 for the No to NATO,
Okay,
and
So
we
that
became
where
a sponsor, but without paying any money for the Peace Walk.
I see.
I thought. I mean,
I
this is-
thought in order to be part of the Peace Walk, you had to sponsor with $500.
not that I know of.
Okay.
No, I think if you are willing to provide lodgings for the walkers, which I thought, Eileen, you were going to be looking while they were passing through Massachusetts.
I was
You-
willing, and
Yes.
I'm having a hard time connecting. People aren't connecting with me.
Which people are not connecting with you?
The coordinators for the walk.
Oh,
Right.
Tariq he didn't respond to me either, by the way.
Can you
So,
spell that name for the minutes?
Tarik. It
I
sounds
think
like
it is. I think that is right.
Tarik.
IK.
And that's his first name, and he was supposedly mostly organizing the peace walk.
Right.
But he's not replying to Eileen or Diane. Okay.
Well, anyway, yeah.
Nevertheless, we have sent our money to the No to NATO event that starts on the 5th of July.
Yeah, 6th. It's for sure the 6th and 7th, and they're going to have little things on the 5th. Yeah. And that's
you
when the
are
walk ends.
right. It just happens that the walk ends at the same time as that starts. And Diane, how many people can you accommodate in your house?
10?
10. Because I might come out for that.
Okay.
Anybody else wants to take Diane up on her offer of lodgings for?
And then the Poor People's Campaign is the Saturday before. So there's the Poor People's Campaign on the Saturday before the No to NATO, and then there's the Peace Walk, and then there's No to NATO. So it's a big week, which is in the it was covered in an e-alert or something, an email. Oh, I know, the branches listserv. Darian wrote it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would not. I would only come for the 4th of July weekend.
Okay, whatever. I think we can work it out.
The 4th is a Thursday, by the way,
Yep.
which means a lot of people will take the 5th off as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I meant to add one more thing. The Vets for Peace in Massachusetts aren't backing the walk.
Oops.
Yeah,
Because
Oh, dear.
They're not
Because-
backing the walk?
exactly.
Why not? It's just peace. They don't even mention NATO.
Because they're old and can't walk very far. How about that? That's a
Wow.
legitimate reason.
Yeah, but
that doesn't mean they can in concept agree with it.
yeah, they can support it. They can put people up, and they can, drive by and help. I don't know. You don't have to walk.
Drive by, thumbs up.
Okay.
We
Whatever.
we have some young Vets for Peace, even in the South. I'm surprised that they haven't picked up there.
Maybe there's something they're not saying or we're not
Maybe.
knowing. I have a question about No to NATO. I've asked it 2 different ways, or put my hand up and also asked in the chat. So that's why I'm
I
interrupting.
see your hand, Joan. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Does everyone else completely understand the history and scope and everything of No to NATO? Or can you tell me where there is a website or something like that because it sort of came up, and then people would talk about it and so on and so forth. But anyway, I think maybe I attended a session about it where there were a lot of people from Europe, which was good.
So the website I mentioned is nonatoyespeace.org, and that is in the
Okay.
agenda. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So you can find out a lot of stuff about it there.
No NATO, yes, peace in the agenda.
.org. That's the website.
Yes, there in the agenda. It's really
Where?
worth printing out the agenda, everybody.
I've got it right in front of me and I'm writing notes in it and I don't see anything. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, you see it
Blind.
now.
Yes, thank you very much.
There are quite a few organizations who are against NATO. Varieties. One was
Oh, you're breaking up, Cheryl.
Oh, Cheryl,
I
you're
don't
really bad.
this.
You want to try one more time, Cheryl? Because I couldn't understand what you said.
Right.
We can't hear you.
Just quite a few different organizations were.
I think she's saying there are various organizations that were working on this.
Against.
Yes,
Oh,
hopefully
yes.
the website will do it. Thank
Okay.
you.
I will link.
Okay, I'm going to go on. So the next item I mentioned is the U.S. Peace Memorial Foundation. And we're trying to get that listed. It's now listed as an addition to be put on there. And I nominated Ellen for the 2024 Peace Prize. So, yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. And so I've talked to Dr. Knox a lot, often it seems. And so he recommends that we nominate WILPF US to win that. And so I said, well, I'll do it next year because we already have Ellen running. So, okay. So I think that's pretty much it. We're waiting for Idarian to review the write-up for us to be listed. Okay, so GCOM's Global Campaign on Military Spending. I don't know if Pam wanted to talk about this because I think she's involved in GDAMs, Global Days of Action on Military, and all this. Pam, did you want, because I think you put out an email about it that you were doing the GDAMs and stuff. But if not, I just thought it's interesting to know about it. And so when SIPRI, which is, I was going, what is SIPRI? Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, they released military spending and they want us to participate in a social media storm. So, and that's on April 22nd, Earth Day. Okay, so I did send out a Code Pink email. I thought the one about where Medea Benjamin goes into the congressman's office and finds APAC money lying around was quite funny. And there were lots of things in that. So in that email. And then UNAC had their conference in St. Paul. And I was thinking of going, but didn't. I don't know if anyone went to UNAC.
I read the report that they just put out about it. 400 people.
Yeah, 400.
To me, it was interesting. They were in exactly the same hotel where we were going to have our meeting.
Right, that's where they
somehow
went.
or other they managed to keep their registration fee much lower than ours. Was going.
Yes. I don't know how it all came about, but anyway.
And if you're on the email list, we'll see have you.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the registration was like $85 or something.
I could forward their email to some.
Okay. Okay, that'd be good.
Right. A lot less people are calculated. They were doing without me and all they do.
Oh, I didn't hear all that, Cheryl, but anyway, Gloria, you're next with your CS.
I said I would.
Maybe you could put it in the chat. Write it in the chat. Please.
You ready for me?
Yes.
I think so. Go ahead, Gloria.
All right. I have made up a flyer. And okay, should I start at the beginning? Maybe not everybody knows about the new idea. Is Ellen here tonight? Ellen Thomas?
Yes.
Ellen, where are you? I don't see her.
There.
Oh, okay. Hi, Ellen. I was writing to Ellen, and suddenly this idea came to me that when we're standing on street corners and trying to sway Northrop Grumman and Raytheon people, it's not that likely, if anyone is trained in rhetoric, that you're going to actually, that target is not going to be too movable. So I suddenly thought, well, and I have scheduled next Thursday, my late husband, we have an award in his name in astronomy because he died so young, he's only 35. So it's a service and community outreach award. And I remember that the last year, when I attended the award ceremony for LAIF, that there were some engineering students around. And then it was I go to a lot of stuff in the College of Science, but you don't have to be involved in the university. They have plenty of open, like, College of Science lectures here at the U of A. They have a whole fall series. You can go to 8 lectures. You will have people sitting around you. You will have foyer time in the beginning before the lecture. You will have foyer time in the ending after the lecture. There may be tables to put things on. The most targeted place to go would be the lectures and open houses and things. You just need to go to your university website, type in College of Science or Department of Engineering, and then events, and see what they say is coming up that's open to the public. And once you do that and you have these flyers, you can first start chatting with the young students that are around and get their ideas about what they might want to be once they get out of this prestigious institution of higher learning, and then offer them a flyer, because a lot of them, well, I shouldn't say a lot. This is based on one conversation I had with one student, and it keeps coming back to me. She was a she. She didn't want to work at Raytheon. She was seated across from me at one of these events. I don't know. I really don't want to work at Raytheon, but my boyfriend is going to get a job there. Blah, 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 blah. And it came out that she didn't know what else there might be for a person in aerospace engineering. Well, I have found a whole sheet of, I don't know if I could get to it right now. It's in published. Well, when somebody else is talking, I will do that. I'll find it. Because right now you have a blank on the last page, and I got a bunch of references about where to go and name the companies that are hiring people in these different engineering specialties, because they haven't really thought this through. There is only a salary, and some of the other non-defense industries pay a pretty good salary for mechanical engineers, design people. I can't think of all the specialties, but at the moment, because I'm talking. But anyway, you can go to Wikipedia for the different areas of engineering: electrical engineering, biomed tech engineering. And I put some of those, the names of the companies. You look, biggest companies hiring engineers in biomed, engineering. And then it pops up with the names of the companies. So this is one-stop shopping for these people. Part of it is the information, but part of the rhetorical value is just that they may never have had anyone who supported them in the idea of finding something else, and that there are other things to do. I have mentioned this before, but I've never gotten off my duff and really done anything about it. I have mentioned this over and over in this group, that's where we need to be going, to the community colleges. It's not so easy to get into the high schools, but community colleges have some basic engineering class. Here it's aerospace. And you can reach these little baby engineers as they're just being born, so to speak, before they become all case hardened. And I'll tell you how that works here in Tucson. They have a cohort. They have clubs that they go to together. They have their lunch, they reinforce each other's rationalizations daily. They are guaranteed wonderful health care and a good retirement package and steady employment. It is very hard to beat that by standing on the street corner with a sign, no matter what you have on that sign. And for years, that's what we've been doing here in Tucson. And it's fine that we do that. And I've done it myself. But I think that we need to do a multimodal approach. And that new mode would be what Aristotle said: in order to influence the agora, you have to be in the room. And you don't have to break in or do something violent, a stunt, to get in. They're throwing the doors open because they want public support for colleges. You know, there's a lot of erosion of the value of support for our public educational institutions. And so even if they were a little bit, you know, the way scientists sometimes used to be is, oh, that's the poet and we don't care. Now they really care. So they have more and more opportunities for people like us to go in to their public events and meet their students and talk to their students. And I see a couple hands here. Okay, I'll take questions. And I'll send out the new flyer with the places where it's all filled in, where they can go to get civilian jobs that are not affiliated with defense.
Great. Okay, Peggy?
Well, I jumped on that because I think it dovetails with Cheryl's call for people to come with brainstorming, big picture approaches, not just to nuclear energy and nuclear bombs, but also to military Keynesianism that we've been addicted to since the Second World War.
Sure. Yes, the whole, you know, going to the military is, it used to be in my town, there were only two places our counselors would tell us to go. In a steel mill town, you could go work at the mill, or here are our military recruiters. That was our horizon. So now the whole country, even the upscale places, are starting to be moving in that direction. It's becoming a barracks community. That was the old term for Nazi Germany, Barackenstadt, a barracks community where there is nothing outside of the military. And I'm sure it was like that in Stalin's Russia too.
Okay,
So-
Cheryl?
Gary.
Yes. So I'm a member of, I've told you about this before, the Physicist Coalition for
You're
reducing
breaking
the
up
risk
very
of
badly, Cheryl.
nuclear
Can you type it
war.
in chat?
So
I
that
can't make any sense.
and
of what
I
you're saying.
pointed to a couple of the events.
We really are
Let
having
me
trouble.
just say that,
Cheryl,
we
we're
have
having a
physicists who are working
terrible
that
time
way
following
about
you.
nuclear weapons.
It breaks up, it breaks up, it breaks up.
The last
Okay.
sentence she said was good.
That's
Yeah, I
true.
got
The
it.
last sentence was the only one that was really
So-
good. It's not your fault, but we want to hear, we want to
so
know what you're saying. And
we have
Yeah,
physicists
what it
working.
was that you're
I
trying
know.
to, you know, in chat, you can type it out and it won't break up.
I know. I'm a rotten typer.
Oh, well,
Oh,
write it on a sign and hold it up.
there you go.
Sharon,
That's
Cheryl, try
okay.
one more time because I did hear you well the
She's
last sentence.
gone.
Try one
Yeah,
more
go ahead.
time.
She went off.
Oh, she went
dear.
off. Oh, she's okay. So
Well, maybe she's trying to reconnect.
Reconnecting.
yeah, I think that's a good
She
thing to
went on
do.
her phone. She
Did
probably.
everybody get the flyers that I spent hours making them? So I wanted to
Yes,
see
and
if
they
you
are
all
great.
did you all get the flyers?
Yes, but
all
you know,
seen
I
the
may need a
flyers.
little hand holding to
You
be
need-
able to print it
You
out.
do need to get the new version with the filled in information on the back. I just wanted to get it out in case I didn't get that done in time for the meeting. But now I will send you an updated version with
Good.
all that information. And that's just a start. I mean,
Yeah,
if you want to do more pages and have more things for them, that way they don't have to do anything except there it is, you know, it tells you this specialty, it's that company. You go to Siemens for that, you go to GE for that. And none of these are defense related. And some of those companies still are pretty reliable getting their contracts because, I mean, we still make refrigerators and things in this country that aren't, well, so far they haven't turned refrigerators into autonomous weapons. That may be coming. Or
They're too heavy.
that old film from the 50s. Did you ever see that? The Twonky? Have any of you heard of it with Hans Conried? It's where this TV is taken. It's an alien from another planet, and it's called the Twonky, Twonky.
Okay, I'm gonna break in. That was really neat, but I'm gonna break in and say that we only have how much time left on several different items here.
Okay. Okay. So
15
Gloria,
minutes or something. Yeah.
I think that was good, Gloria. Are you satisfied?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm getting ready. I'm just going to send you the new version in at least in the Word format. It isn't in the publisher format. So I'm putting that
Okay,
up
well,
now to the whole Disarm.
4:45.
okay, thanks. Okay, Eileen, you're next for laws.
Oh my gosh, that came fast. Okay, I need more light. Okay, I can do light. Okay, there be light. All right, I was very impressed with the New Yorker, April 15th, tomorrow's issue that came out last week. They tend to come out early. That I picked up at the library. I usually read it somebody else's. And this New Yorker has a very telling article that's called The Assault, about one of the Ukraine's most skilled fighting units battling under a canopy of drones, which I explained that's what the battles are nowadays anyway. The author is Luke Mogelson, Mogulson, who is on Democracy Now! Either Thursday or Friday. Okay. And by the way, he's won a few awards. He was part for 2 weeks. He spent time in the 1st Battalion with a very impressive commander as they infiltrated. I'm going to mispronounce these words. Maybe you can help me, Gloria. I'm not sure. They infiltrated Tabaivka in northern Donbass region, probably January, February. It's not really explicit. Anyway, some of the tidbits I learned are kind of interesting, but the real message that I want comes at the end. Okay, here we go. Most drones have heat sensors now, so they can detect and target humans day or night. Soldiers dig trenches or cover themselves over with ponchos and branches as soon as possible if they see a bunch of drones coming. The drones are set up to just crash into the person and let their payload go. In other words, they are kamikaze kind of things. Soldiers carry gas masks, compasses, maps, cell phones, power banks, night vision monoculars, thermal imaging visors, and medical supplies, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition, some food and water, hand grenades, shovels, fixed blade knives. The operation centers are in basements of abandoned homes or temporary mobile units, with monitors showing aerial footage from surveillance drones and various radios and landmine phones. Unlike the commander in this 1st Battalion, who is outstanding, most of the leaders are inept and unwilling to take sacrifices. Because of this, many soldiers, actually all soldiers, but many soldiers, more soldiers have been injured or killed, and are either, if they don't come back, it's because they're dead. But they are returning to the front because they believe in their country. The soldiers in the Trebaivka assault had a small electric land drone with all-terrain tires, a rocket launcher with a 1-mile range that had a first vision controller and goggles. That wasn't totally explained. But you know, if they look a certain direction, they can see things that you and I can't see by the naked eye. They blew up a bridge to prevent Russians from getting behind them as they move forward in the snow. In order to sneak up on the enemy, they had to go when drones could not fly, and that's during snow or extremely bad weather and wind. Basically, it was a very clever strategy on the part of the leaders. Now I'm going to continue into the message that I would love to see for things like TPNW. This is Mogelson's description of the thinking of the elite versus those who are in or near battles. And this will probably take about 4 minutes if I read fast. Okay. Oh, let me do this one. While conscription agents snatch men from factories, buses, and streets of rural villages and towns, the draft is much less aggressively enforced in the capital, where the Ukrainian elite live. Bars there overflow with hipsters, cafes are crowded with young couples, concerts, art exhibits, and other cultural events lend the city a sense of comfortable cosmopolitan normalcy. And this is true of most cities in the middle of Ukraine or Western Ukraine. An influx of foreigners in Kiev, from aid workers to entrepreneurs, accentuate the disconnect between what's happening on the front and in the cities. Sever, one of the code names for one of the soldiers, saw a parallel between contemporary Ukrainian society and the bitter estrangement that he and many of his comrades had experienced between 2014 and 2022. They're, quote unquote, they're building a wall between the two worlds again, the rich and the poor. In Kiev, it's still largely taboo to discuss negotiating with Russia, ceding parts of the Donbass, or letting go of the Crimea. But as with every war, the men actually fighting are more earthbound and candid. Odessa and Bison, code names, former platoon leaders told me, this is the author, we're losing, not badly, but steadily. In his view, if the West maintains its current level of assistance, Ukraine can hold out for a few more years. If the assistance diminishes, we're screwed in a matter of 1 year. If aid increases, there'll be a stalemate until we run out of soldiers. Perum, that's the commander's name, code name, argued that from a purely strategic standpoint, you need to know when to stop and how to lose.
Thank you.
And citing, it's another 3, maybe 2 minutes. Citing the Russian withdrawal from Kiev and Kherson, he noted, the Russians are better at this than we are. Unlike Russia, he went on, Ukraine is a democracy and therefore negotiations can start only when society demands them. But the governments, and specifically President Zelensky, had given Ukrainians unreasonable expectations and a distorted picture of the military situation. Society does not know our problems. Even as those two worlds move further apart, the American debate over Ukraine tends to homogenize Ukrainians. This is the author. Many Republicans have adopted Donald Trump's hostility towards the country, regurgitating Russia's propaganda that vilifies and dehumanizes Ukrainian citizens. Liberals who consider themselves pro-Ukrainian, meanwhile, tend to equate the stance with unconditionally promoting Zelensky's hardline ambitions. The latter, perhaps inevitably, because most of the Ukrainians that Americans see and hear on social media, on TV, at forums, and conferences also espouse those ambitions. What can I say? We really have to, I think, quote this author when we talk with people who are promoting us staying in Ukraine. That's my opinion. Cheryl, you have your hand up. I'm not sure we can hear you,
Can
though.
you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So we need you to put in the chat a link to this article that you're reading from. It's not in the agenda.
I said I would be, I sent a message to Diane saying I'll be working off of this, but I'll send you the issue. If you have wherewithal to get into the New Yorker, the library can help you, basically. I'll send you the information.
Right. I think we'd all like to see it.
He was on Democracy Now.
Yes.
Yes, but
their printout of that interview is also available.
That's good to know. Thank you. They usually do
Peggy,
provide,
Peggy, can you find it?
You just go to Democracy Now.
it's in archives. They archive everything they do.
It's so much easier if you would just do it. There are so many places I need
it's
to
easier
go.
for me if you just go to Democracy Now.
It's
Just
April
enter
12th.
it in
I think
Google.
it was Friday. It's easy to access. Democracy Now. You get to their site and just scroll down a little bit and it's there. But this article is superb.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
what
you.
is his qualification? What is his qualifications for writing this, Eileen? Who is he?
Are you
Why does
familiar
he?
with the
Because he was
Pope?
embedded.
Are you familiar with
His
the Pope?
qualifications are all listed underneath that.
And he won
Go through them.
Pope Awards. That means he's an outstanding journalist, writer. Well, he's not a journalist. He writes for the New Yorker.
But did I understand he was embedded
that New
with some
Yorker.
of these?
He was there.
Journalists are sometimes embedded with the military. So, okay. So he was embedded with them.
Yeah,
That's exactly.
Fine.
they're not exactly
That's the word he used.
influenced by the
Yeah.
by the one side that they're with. You know, this started in, I think, Iraq and Vietnam. The journalists would wander and get into other places, not just embedded places. But now we are getting nothing but people who are embedded with one side. So even if it sounds balanced, you're still getting the views of the one side. And that is what we call propaganda in general. And sometimes you have softcore where there's some counter indicators where they'll say things that don't make the points of the one side. But I think another thing we should be against is embedding all the journalists with one side and not allowing them to get any information other than the carefully screened information that that side allows.
True.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's some
Okay.
group called Journalists for Free. It looked like it was a bunch of people like this man. I'll have to find that again. It's a consortium of journalists who are trying to do that and not stay embedded.
Okay.
I
Well,
hate that term, by the way, in rhetoric, embedded. That sounds so bad. Embedded. That means you're in bed with. You're in bed with one side.
I'm going to remind us of the time. I'm going to remind us of the time. The timekeeper is trying to remind us of the time.
Okay, so I think we can go on to the next item then, which is promote peace via treaties. And I just put that Law Not War is having a meeting on Tuesday. And their major thing is they're trying to get the International Court of Justice to have more effect. And then Judith was here, and she's working on PEP, Project Enduring Peace. And so the big effort now is for them to utilize social media. And Laura George, who is doing this Founding Mothers movement, she has meetings every week, and they've decided on a logo. And they had a discussion about artificial intelligence, and they're incorporating it into the manifesto. And she has started a WILF branch. So, and she put up the website already, and it's really, really good. So she's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So,
to start a WILF branch, you have to have 10 people.
right.
Has she actually gone through the correct process to call
Yes,
it a WILF branch?
oh yes, this has been ongoing, and she had 10 people, but one of them had some problems with I don't know what the problems were. But so she has 9 for sure, and she thinks she thought she had 10. So, but
And
she did all,
did she write to our board of directors?
but she's been in contact with Chris for a while. So, yeah, it's all I mean, she's very thorough and had all the paperwork and all this other stuff. And so
Okay.
yeah, so she decided to do that. And then the website is another thing besides just doing the setting up the branch. Already has the website up. So I thought that was pretty good. Okay, Robin.
And where?
Oh, go ahead. What?
Where is
No,
she
is she in
located
San
again?
Diego?
Sorry.
Okay, Judith is in San Diego and Laura is in Virginia, Southern Virginia, right next to Tennessee.
Oh,
Mhm. Was there another question?
Okay. No.
Okay, if not, then Robin, Africa.
Yes, we're moving ahead with Africa Day here in Burlington. It will be May 11th. We have a speaker coming from Washington, D.C. His name is Niles Kuniani, and he's works in human rights. And there will be food, good food. That's what will bring people. And so, yes, in fact, there's going to be 2 Africa Days, I'm hoping, because we will have a smaller scale event on the official Africa Day, which is May 25th. And that will involve 2 African Americans who have been very involved in the formation of Black Lives Matter, and also they're friends with Mama Africa, who is from the Move movement from Philadelphia. So they may all be here in Burlington, and we'll have a face-to-face meeting with them. And with Jill Golub, who sometimes is in Washington, but at that point will be in Burlington. Whew. So that's all I have to report on.
So
Okay.
I've seen this name, Mama Africa, in our minutes of the last meeting. It's an actual person.
Yes, I think she's one of the last surviving
Mama
people.
Africa is a person.
That's her name.
I actually had done a Google search on her and didn't come up with anything, but I'm sure that yeah. So anyway, Peggy, you have a question?
No, I really just have a comment. I've been trying to find out more about Sudan, and I just wanted to congratulate and thank Robin for taking that initiative, because I think I know that I myself am so ignorant of the tremendous needs that we have that exist in Africa that I'm distracted by other things from paying attention to that. Really, in terms of human life and suffering, it's so great.
Well, yes, and just to say that the focus of our events are to build awareness of the Pan-African Congress that is supposed to happen in October, but the people we were in touch with have not been responding much. So I'm a little worried about what's happening. But the idea of a Pan-African Congress, of which this would be the 9th that has happened since decades ago, would would help nations, African nations, to be aware of the problems of their that are prevalent in other African countries, and overcome the colonialized situations that they endure. They're throwing that off, of course, but coming together, both the francophone and the anglophone and the German phone, and the heritage of these colonial powers are still very strong. And I think the people in the Sahel region are being the most enthusiastically overthrowing the French in that region and refusing to go along with the French franc, which impoverishes them in various ways, being forced to do all their business in it's called it has a special name, but it's tied to the French franc. So I think this is building my information on all of this, but I think the Sudan is a terrible crisis that is being ignored by the outside world and possibly ignored within Africa. Although I think it's causing disastrous population problems in adjacent countries like Chad and probably Ethiopia and so on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. 2 minutes.
Okay, Cheryl?
Challenging for power.
Yes.
And that seems to be
Right. Yeah. If you look at the BBC News about Niger, not Nigeria, Niger,
Yeah.
you will see you've got whoever was the foreign military in Niger is leaving, and they're being replaced by Russians. Okay, so I didn't read the whole story because I've been out of contact. But, there's a lot of movement in Africa, and by and large, the Chinese and the Russians.
And Niger is especially
taking over.
Oh dear, you're starting to break up again.
I just want to say Niger is especially important because it has a big, I think 2,000 Americans in a base, and it has uranium. So
fine.
So that we want to keep it under our control,
Right.
don't we?
Right. Oh my. Okay, so the next item that we can, did you want to discuss anything? Oh, Gloria, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I just downloaded that article from the New Yorker, and I'll send it out on email right now.
Wow,
Okay.
how did you do that? Because I tried.
It's easy. You just go to the New Yorker and highlight it and cut and paste, put it in your Word, give it a name, you're done.
Okay, great.
Do you subscribe to the New Yorker?
I don't, and this has nothing to do with it, but I have a friend who gives me the gift subscription. So I could have scanned it in, but I just went there and it let me in. So I guess
interesting. Yeah, I couldn't. All right, thank you.
This is your timekeeper saying that we've been on this large, wonderful group of reports and things for the time that was in the agenda. So we need to extend the time because there's quite a bit left in this section.
Okay, well, we'll have to just get through it. Okay, Eileen, did you want to say anything about the WILPF Congress?
I can't. I have been out of the loop lately. I'm just working on my little part of bottled water versus municipal water. And only a handful of people are doing the actual work, streamlining the program. And it's more orderly that way, by the way.
Okay. Okay, so the next item is the ANA. And I don't know if Pam would like to talk about this, or Ellen, because Ellen wanted to know who's going, if anyone.
I'm
Yeah.
here. I was driving before. Sorry I didn't answer last time. Did you want to talk, Ellen?
No, you talk, Pam. You know more than I do.
Yeah, I'm on the ANA board, so I have to try to keep up. Yes, well, we'll be having our training on May 18th, Sunday. Diane, do you live in DC area?
Yes, and I'm going to be in Chicago then for the money, May Day for money.
Oh, yeah. When are
Uh-huh.
you getting back?
That's that weekend, the same weekend.
Oh, but the next weekend, during the week, will you be back? Can I talk to you later?
Yeah, you can talk to me. I'm going to my son's afterwards.
Oh, all right. Never mind. I got to
But
find a
just
place to stay for the
Oh,
last
but
2
you
days.
want to stay here. Stay here. I mean, anyway,
After
whatever.
the meeting?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that is the training, then 3 days of lobbying, and the spring meeting is going to be on Zoom too. So if you can come, we get the updates on what's going on at Savannah Riverside. They're just shocking things they're doing. This building that was $8 billion, and they threw out all the machinery and threw it away, or sold it for pennies on the dollar because it didn't work. And now they're going to put another $12 billion, and it was going to be 20 billion. And now they think it's going to be $25 billion for one building to make plutonium bomb cores, what we really need to survive in this world. Anyway, it's outrageous. And you're going to get updated on all these amazing, awful things that are happening. So Thursday and Friday, make some time. I think we'll start around 9:30 and go till around 2. So it's not all day, and it would be worth your time to listen.
Thursday and Friday, when? Say it again.
Okay, so it would be May 22nd and 23rd, or is it, wait, not 18th, 19th.
19th, isn't it May 19th and 20th?
19th, 20th, 23rd, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd and 23rd will be the spring meeting. I'm going to be there for the whole week.
We see your whole page there.
Great.
No,
Okay.
Jean-
This is
Jean
Jean.
reads-
No, that's
It's,
not
yeah,
mine.
it's Jean's page. Jean, you somehow you're doing.
She's looking to click on something. She's looking to click on her stop video or start video, and instead she clicks on make my screen share. Happens every time.
Oh my. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Pam.
And
I
I'll
don't
make sure that the Disarm discussion group gets the link for the spring meeting.
Please.
Okay, thank you. Good. Okay.
Because some of it will be on Zoom, is what you're telling us.
Yeah, the last 2 days, the Thursday and the Friday. Last year, we had a long report from somebody from NCRDC about what they're doing with the nuclear waste, which of course is also shocking. So, but this time I'm not quite sure what we're going to talk about.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
I'm done.
Okay. Ellen, did you want to say anything else about this?
I am very interested in having the details about how to get onto the Zoom.
yeah,
I assume that you will be sending that out, Pam.
You assume correctly.
All right, wonderful.
All right,
Yeah, I'm willing to help out
great.
with Zoom. if
I'll
you
send it
need
to you, and then you could send it out. People will be sure to look at it.
Okay.
I'm very eager to have more about this. I'm very ignorant about this, and I think it's important. I'm in Georgia.
Well, you're right next to it, and we may be having our fall meeting in Georgia. It would be closer to the Savannah River site. I can't remember if it was Augusta. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
But closer to the Savannah River. So that's a possibility, and maybe you could go. That would be really good.
I probably can't go, but I can get out the word more about it.
Well, that would be great.
Other people and putting people in touch.
Well, that would be sponsored by Georgia Wand, which is almost all Black women and very amazing.
Oh, you're in
Wonderful.
contact with Georgia Wand?
They're organizing this, our fall
Okay,
meeting.
okay. They know what they're doing. They're-
Yes.
Okay, good.
All right. So I'll have more news on that as we progress with that.
Okay, good. So the next item is Ukraine.
So
And
you actually, you missed my addition to the agenda.
sorry, yes, because I didn't, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Thank you, Cheryl.
So I'm doing this under the Earth democracy part of the agenda, because this is really to do with trying to make a coalition of civil society organizations who are going to work in collaborating with like-minded governments to strengthen environmental governance. Okay, so somebody some time ago made a list of 9 planetary boundaries that told us we don't want to cross any of these 9 planetary boundaries, which are talking about things like pollution, acidification of the seawater, the amount of carbon dioxide in the air, things like that. We've already overshot 6 of those 9 planetary boundaries. And so this thing called Mobilizing an Earth Governance Alliance was started on March the 26th. And Basel Peace Office, who we hear about, is helping to launch it. And Mary Robinson, former president of Ireland and well-known peacemaker, she is helping to start this alliance. The acronym is MEGA. I will forward you what I got from Basil's office this afternoon. But this is where our environmental section of what needs to be done in the world to stop climate change bringing us all nothing. So they're going to have campaigns, and they say, we're in emergency, right? They're trying to make people realize just how bad this climate change situation is. I will quit there. Thank you. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yes, I heard
Thank
most
you.
of it. Yeah. I'm sorry I skipped you. Yeah, I see your democracy. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. And yeah, and you're going to send it out so we can get it that way too. So, okay. So now we're back to Ukraine. And I just put in here, there was a MAPA gave they had a webinar about it, and it's supposed to be very good. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. And then they have some actions to do about it. Did anybody want to say anything about Ukraine?
Yes. So the Peace in Ukraine coalition, of which we are a member, peaceinukraine.org, developed a statement about the need to stop sending weapons to both Israel and to Ukraine. And I will put in the chat a link to that lengthy statement, which you can use. You can extract it as you speak, or write to your congressional members, asking them not to keep sending weapons to these countries. All right. But
Okay.
again, this coalition is a big coalition, many organizations, and of course, Ukraine has been overshadowed. Thank you.
Okay, I was just going to say, if we got the minutes out soon, then people would have links too, and that would be good. But I don't know if you can do it soon, but that would be good to have all the stuff in the minutes. Okay, so now we're on to project reports.
Could I say
Gloria.
something still on?
Gloria,
Ukraine?
Gloria, I didn't see your hand.
Just fast, are you following the story about the nuclear reactor that they're fighting around again?
Yeah.
And, that's something that we should all be following, because you heard about that place called Chernobyl. Well, this one is bigger, the Zaporozhye one. So this is something that, yes, Martha, it is shut down, but I think that there are, things that can still leak if it's all shot to bits. So,
Well,
Okay.
I thought they attacked the electricity leading to it, and that shut off systems for cooling it's still important. And I haven't been able to get a lot of good details. If you have an article about it, I appreciate it.
I muted myself. I'll look for one.
No hurry. I certainly have other things to do.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Yep. Uh-huh.
I refer to these news with just
Cheryl, we could not hear that, understand that.
maybe you Carol.
Do you want to try turning off your picture again?
Okay, one more try.
News website.
That's better.
Please
The
put things in
BBC
the
News
chat,
website
Cheryl,
has a
when
lot
you
of
can.
details now.
Please use the chat when you can.
Yes, because
She said the BBC News website.
Has information on it, right? Okay, Robin has her hand raised.
Okay, I don't know whether we're in announcements, but that's what this is, about the Vermont WILPF gathering. Okay, I meant to talk about it in the last call and didn't get around to it, but for me, it's a matter of reserving time with my family, and I have gone ahead and reserved the time in August, and it's going to be from right after Hiroshima Day for that next week, from the 11th to the 17th, something like that. So it will be more scaled down than usual. I do not expect to make a lot of events happen, but people are welcome to come and make their own events or invite their own friends or invite a speaker they know of. And, so it's just I'm backing off a little bit from being the planner of this, but it is available and you're all welcome.
You're
Okay.
saying the whole week, Robin, or would you?
tell us the dates again.
Yeah, I believe it's the 11th, Sunday, the 11th through that whole week through the following weekend to the 19th.
Oh, 19th. Oh, okay. That's a long time. When do you think most people would be thinking?
Depends on what you want to do, and we'll have to focus it to whatever you all say. If you,
Okay.
I'll be there as I'm there. I have it, so you can drop in.
Thank you so much, as usual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let me see. We're on to Treasurer's report, I think. Ellen?
I don't know of anything. I haven't heard that the donations I sent a message asking for donations to go out and haven't heard back on that. I did hear that Cheryl's donation has showed up.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. And I know Cheryl's been gone for 2 weeks. Does anybody want to say anything about the website, the Disarm website?
Well, we submitted all the information they wanted, Diane.
Yeah.
I sent it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
When I went to the website, when I went to the website committee meeting last week, Ellen Schwartz had forgotten to send it on, so she was going to do that this week.
Okay. Good enough. Keep trying. Okay, so the next disarm meeting is the 28th of April. And is there any other business?
That is awful.
Wait, Cheryl, what?
That is absolutely awful.
I can't understand you.
Huh, usually we don't have any problems with Cheryl's
Mm-mm.
thing. It's surprising. I don't, I mean,
We killed
Here.
ourselves.
Could you put it in the chat, please?
Get that done.
We can't hear you. Can you put it in the chat, please?
sorry, Cheryl, it's just totally not audio, I can't hear it. Okay, and if there was a change of date, I don't know, it's just the last Sunday of the month, the 28th, I think, is what I put on the agenda. So, okay, so we're going to go on to any other business. If not, I did put in future webinars that you might want to attend. So there's a Coalition for Peace Action, a United Nations Association in Greater Philadelphia, Ending the Climate and Nuclear Crisis with Timon Wallace. That's why I put it in, because Timon's going to be on it. And then the future of the Palestinian National Movement was recommended. And I have the links for that. And then I did, David Swanson put this article, What Does NATO Have to Do with the Genocide in Gaza? And 2 podcasts that I thought were interesting. A Genocide Foretold by Chris Hedges, who has been foretelling it for a while. And then the Ralph Nader Radio Hour has Saving Israel and Palestine. So is there anything else? Because if not, we've covered the agenda.
Wow, amazing. We're done.
We've got some people with us that didn't do any talking tonight, and I would love to hear from them, like Hideko and Jean and Martha.
Yeah, that would be great if one of you would say something.
Hideko?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yay.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. And good evening to you. I see that you look all very well, and I support your energy. I was 90 years old in January, and my physicality isn't there very much. Nobody tells me that I look 90 years old, but I feel
Right.
it all over. However, my mind is still very excited with doing, I'm a peacemaker. I believe in collective healing. I carry on my shoulder the wounds of Pearl Harbor, all right? And I want collectively all of us to heal. And maybe you don't need healing, but my entire life has been such miserable, grief-stricken, very miserable life in terms of feeling grief. And I lost sense of ability to feel joy. And I love seeing people in joyful mood and satisfactions. And I support you with all my heart. End of speech.
Thanks, Hideko.
Yes, thank you.
You're most
Yeah.
welcome.
And
You are really wonderful people. Just go on with it.
You are too.
that's for sure. And there's a message from Hideko in the chat around 5:30. So be sure to copy the chat, everybody.
Oh, I have a Ukrainian version of When the Peace Tree Blooms. And I got Ukrainians to check it, and they say it's done very well.
All right.
Making it available in Ukraine and for the Russians. And I'm hoping that they plant peace tree in each other's, parks.
Woo.
Yes, wonderful.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Jacob.
I guess it's good night, unless somebody wants.
Jean or Martha? Jean, Martha, Jean, do you want to speak up?
Everybody's muted.
I don't think we're all muted.
No,
Well,
but
not everybody, but the
yeah.
people who haven't spoken. Jean and Martha. Yeah.
Well, I want